Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike, Max, Patrick, Royce, Lou Nanny, and the one and only Sid Hartman. Sidney, you made a good point this morning. Let me think. No. What did you think of the Vikings today?
Well, it's amazing that San Diego had 125 more yards total than they had, and still they beat them really 31-7. The last quarterback was a garbage score.
Well, that's when they got some of their yards.
Was a garbage touchdown, but the stats were so one-sided, it was unbelievable. I thought they played pretty good. I think Adrian Peterson makes a little difference. He might be the best running back that's developed in the National Football League in the last 10 years. When he's on, like today, I was watching the TV, and Dan Fouts did the game, and they were bragging how he pushed these guys off of him, how hard he is to tackle, and all that stuff. And he makes a big difference when they got him. And the offensive line is playing better than they thought. And defensively,
you just hit on it. I talked to a lot of those offensive linemen after the game, and we don't hardly know these guys because they haven't been around. Battery for the life of me, I can't figure out how this offensive line has played better with fewer bodies.
Well, 2 weeks ago, San Diego, I can't even remember where they were playing, but
Detroit.
But on each, no, San Diego, not the Vikings.
They played Detroit and Cincinnati.
2 weeks ago, Cincinnati. They pushed the offensive line. The Bengals averaged 4 yards per rush before they got tackled. So that's
against San Diego.
Against San Diego. So it's an undersized offensive line that San Diego, they can't stop the run.
Well, that's what I was saying. The same thing happened
Undersized
against
defensive
Detroit.
line.
Yeah.
Detroit had them dead, done, and gone. It was 21-3.
Yeah.
How do you, but Louis, you saw the San Francisco game.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you explain this?
They had an
How a
off
team
night.
does this?
Just, every you can look at every sport and every team. Sometime, somewhere along the line, they come up with a clunker. That was
What's
theirs.
funny is San Francisco's been awful since then.
47-7 today.
Yeah, and by the way, Larry Fitzgerald's not dead.
No. 2001, the Vikings lost the opener to Carolina, and Carolina lost the next 15.
Yeah. Chris Weinke was the quarterback.
That could happen with the 49ers. They might lose the next 15.
Yeah. What's your theory, Sid?
The Bears situation is pitiful. That Mrs. not Hallis,
McCoskey?
Yeah, McCoskey, she's 96, goes to every game, and they fired, about 5-6 years ago, they fired her grandson, and whoever they've had, Lovie Smith, they had Trestman, they got a new guy now.
Fox.
And before Lovie Smith, they had somebody else for about a couple years. The club is not run right. They're not drafted.
They did go to the Super Bowl.
You should have started dating her.
Yep.
You could have taken over that team.
Yep. She's 96. You're 95.
You should have dated her. You could have taken over that team.
Plus, you could see. Plus, you could see you're dating an older woman.
Yeah, I could run the club.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly right.
I've done it better than them.
So, do you think the Vikings? What's your early take, Patrick? The Vikings are for real, or the jury's out?
Well, I think they're better than most of them. When you look around the NFC right now, who scares you? San Diego, Seattle's okay, and Green Bay's good. Boy, everybody else is. You go 9-7, you'll probably make the playoffs, don't you think?
I know this is early to say this, Louis, because Mike Zimmer had 1 year plus 3 games so far, but people seem to like him and et cetera. And I don't know if he's going to be a great head coach or whatever, but. He was 58 when he got hired as a head coach. Is there a way in the NHL and the NFL, whatever, that guys lobby themselves, and does that work to become head coach? Because clearly he was not a lobbyer. He was a guy that just stood behind his body of work. Are there a lot of guys that general managers and owners will fall in love with that lobby and they have more sizzle than they do?
I don't say there's a lot of guys, but I certainly have seen guys that lobby.
I'm sure you got lobbied all the time, right?
Yeah, there's a number of them. So I don't think you're going to judge Zimmer by his age just because he's 58. Obviously, he was a quality coach before that. He was a coordinator. He's been very successful, and he finally got a chance. Sometimes it's just getting a chance. It's like every sport. It's for some reason or other. For a long time, coaches seem to get recycled, and then they get out of that band. We've had coaches recycle in hockey for a long time. We certainly have had it in baseball, and we've had it in
Just
football.
about every sport.
Yeah.
NBA, my God,
And
some of these guys.
Zimmer probably should have got a chance earlier, but now he's finally got one. He's doing a good. He's a
Hey,
excellent coach.
Maxie,
Yeah,
one last
Bobby.
thing on Peterson, Maxie.
They all got agents.
They ran him out of the eye today. Every carry, Bridgewater was under center. The first game, they tried to have him run, take the ball standing still. And the second game, he did carry it some with Bridgewater and the pistol, but today, every carry was out of the eye. So he's obviously more comfortable carrying the ball that way.
He sent a text to Mike Zimmer because he had a son born today at 9 in the morning. Adrian did. And sent a text explaining to Zimmer where he was, etc.
You talking about
Peterson?
players lobbying to carry the
Hang
ball?
on a second.
Peterson, we moved.
And then Zimmer texted him back, said, "Are you going to make it for the game, etc." Can you imagine what was going on in the head coach's mind when he's wondering?
God, if Peterson missed a game every time he had a baby, he'd never play, for God's sake.
That was too easy, Sid.
Thank you.
What are you talking lobbying for?
I was
what?
wondering how we're going to get to that one.
We were talking about Adrian Peterson.
Oh, I see.
And what was your theory?
Well, he was all excited about the baby today. He kept on repeating it in the press conference about 10 times.
Yep.
But he can play. I'll tell you that, boy. And all those hypocrites who didn't want him around and all that stuff, they're cheering.
I'd say this, none of them must have been at the game today because they all went crazy when he had a couple of runs. So all those people that were against him, none of them must have showed up for the game today because everybody I saw was standing
That's what
and
I'm
cheering.
saying. He runs on the field and the AP.
All right, take a break, come back, stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandSteve'sAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
You're watching CW-23.
The Twin Cities' best Subaru deals are in full swing at Luther White Bear Subaru. Take a look. Buy a 2016 Legacy starting under $21,800 or lease for just $239 a month. Plus, help support White Bear Subaru's drive for Children's Hospital by donating books, toys, and more through October 31st. What a shot! I'm Dan Moen, and thanks for watching. Huh? Luther White Bear Subaru, Highway 61, just north of 694 in White Bear Lake.
Do you need a car but credit problems are holding you back? CarHop can help with as little as $99 down and fast approval. We understand buying a car is a big decision. With a 7-day money-back guarantee and an outstanding warranty, you know you've made the right choice. Fast approval and the peace of mind of a money-back guarantee and a great warranty. Call or visit carhop.com today.
CarHop, cars and credit to go. Cars and credit to go.
Experience family fun and pro football like you've never seen it. The Hall of Fame Tour this weekend in the Twin Cities. Celebrate pro football's greatest players with interactive exhibits, activities for the entire family, and exclusive pieces from the Hall of Fame. Meet Hall of Fame heroes from the Minnesota Vikings and test your skills to see how you compare to the all-time greats. Come see the legends who made the game great. The Pro Football Hall of Fame Tour, October 17th and 18th at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets on sale now. ProFootballTour.com.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second to none happy hour, and great outdoor dining, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington, locally owned, nationally known, Hoyt's.
J.D. Hoyt Supper Club, chop steak, seafood, and a whole lot more on Washington. You're coming downtown. It's a must stop. It's a must eat. J.D. Hoyt Supper Club, the place to be. Welcome back to the sports show. You didn't, Ragnar. I didn't. You thought he was asking too much money? Ragnar, the mascot.
They hired a mascot today. They're probably paying him $500 a game. How could this guy ask for $20,000 a game?
Well,
he said a friend of his told him he should.
It's called bad advice.
I think he was fishing, and he was fishing up there in Ely, and they might have had an extra beer or two.
Who cares about that mascot?
Well,
you know, he was fun. He did a good job. He rides a motorcycle real well.
Do you have a mascot in hockey?
I think they wanted to get
Can't
rid
ride
of
a
him.
motorcycle on the ice.
That's what I was
I
wondering.
think they wanted to get rid of him anyway, to go to this Victor and have a more kid-friendly, you know, have more of a, you know.
If you would have got that, though, you realize you'd have gone from Ragnar to riches.
This guy thought he was indispensable.
He's a good guy. He just got some bad. He's not, you know, he's not a bad.
Well, he's stupid. He asked for $20,000.
Well, yeah, he made a mistake,
Well, he
but I
thought
mean,
that-
he's not.
He
maybe
knows
he
he
thought there was going
couldn't
to be
get
some
it.
negotiations.
What'd you think of the alumni? You had a chance to talk to Fran Tarkington. What'd you think of the alumni weekend?
That was amazing. 80 guys flew in and to honor Tingoff. And that poor Tingoff, he can't talk, he can't do anything. He's in, I feel sorry for him. I had a long talk with Francis. Francis is not that high on, he thinks the quarterback has got a lot to learn yet, but
Bridgewater, you mean?
yeah, but he thinks he's got great potential. But he likes the Viking team as a whole. He thinks they'll give the Packers a battle.
You know,
I'm surprised he was talking to you. You were so negative about him when he was here back then.
I talked to him on the show, and then I talked to him up in the suite
I know,
where
I was joking.
where Tingelhoff was and
He
Grant
got pretty
was.
good pub. Let's put it this way. In the 70s, he got pretty good pub.
I would imagine. I can only imagine. He, when you look at what he did though with that body, I mean, that's an incredible career.
Yes. But you know, the funny thing is, you look at the numbers back then, and they'd throw 3 interceptions, and nobody even thought anything about it. Nobody cared about nobody cared about interceptions. You just threw it, and if somebody picked it off, you tackled them. And
Defense won the game for you. Huh?
Right.
You knew him though well.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And his greatest claim to fame is he drove Ben Brocklin crazy.
Called the most dysfunctional human being he's ever met this weekend.
He knew when to quit, I'll say that.
Who, Tarkington?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he had a great career.
Yeah.
He had a tremendous career.
Well, the day they played Pittsburgh, I was in with Grant and him, and he couldn't throw the ball from here to Ricey. And he thought his career was all over. And what was that? Mike Marshall quit baseball, went to Michigan State as a masseur, and he brought his arm back.
Mike Marshall, the baseball pitcher.
Well, that had to be Mike moonlighting in the winter because Mike was still pitching for the Twins in '77, and that Super Bowl was like early '70s.
He had the Scroogey, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had the Scroogey and the Scroogey. He was a goofball.
Yeah.
How about the Gophers?
They're 3-1. TCU, which scored 55 points. They're averaging 60. The Gophers held them to 23 points. If there's 5 more minutes in that game, Gophers might win that game. They've had so many injuries that is unbelievable. I never heard it. Pat Smith told me he's spending more time on the campus than he's spending in his office treating these kids.
He's team doctor.
When you lose 3 of your 4 secondary guys and you're playing a team with a pretty good passer, it's pretty tough.
TCU did give up 52 last night, though. They gave up 52.
Yeah.
Okay.
They gave up 52 to a team that's been scoring 40, 50 every game.
Well, okay. That's all I'm saying is you can't say they held them to 23
and
not point out that they gave up 52.
You wouldn't say one good word about it.
I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm just saying they did give up 52.
Louis?
Well, it was fun to watch them yesterday on the offense because they needed the offense yesterday. The defense, as he said, had so many injuries.
They got kind of a neat two-headed monster with these 2 freshman running backs.
Oh, I'll tell you, it was exciting to watch. It was fitting that Maroney was there because that's the last
what
time
he did.
they've had
Ian Barber.
Ian Barber. That's the last time they've had 2 running backs that performed so well. And Brooks really looks good. He looks terrific. And
yeah,
they have him and Smith. That was good. Plus, Leitner threw the ball better yesterday, and unfortunately, Wiertowski there, I think he probably got a concussion.
He did.
He hit his head pretty hard on turf, and I hope he's not out too long because he's far and away been their best receiver.
What do you think of him in the Big Ten?
Well, Northwestern was a little bit frightening until yesterday when they almost got beat by Ball State. So I think it'll be a 10-7 game Saturday.
No, I disagree
Very
with you.
good
I
defense.
Disagree.
Oh, I think it'll be very low scoring.
No, I disagree.
Really?
Northwestern and Ball State, and this thing will go high scoring.
Well, maybe I'm not a very good panelist then. Maybe I should just be fired.
God, I'm giving him layups tonight, Louis.
That was the layup for him. That was what he wanted. That was
God,
perfect.
dang it, man.
That's from his column. He needed that.
Now, I asked you about the Big Ten earlier today, and you said that was a stupid question for me to ask you about the Big Ten. That's what you told me. You said it was stupid for me to ask you about the Big Ten.
I don't think the Big Ten's very good.
They got the top 2 teams in the country.
I don't care if they have it. Northern Illinois almost beat Ohio State. If they don't throw an interception, they wind up winning.
Sid, have you ever watched a game that turned out the way it should have? You always say, if that had to happen.
I know, yeah.
But it happened.
5 more minutes, it's a different game, you know?
Michigan State
What happens,
didn't look great Saturday.
Nobody's showing anything in the 4th game of the year before the conference. You know that.
I'm just
Louis,
saying,
if there'd been one more second on the clock, Ted Hampson's goal would have counted. You would have been playing Game 7 against Montreal.
Is much better than the Big Ten.
That's all you're saying.
It might be. But the Big Ten does have the top 2 teams rated right now in the country. Michigan is playing pretty darn well.
Didn't take him long.
No.
Didn't
and
take him
Northwestern's
long.
ranked, and Wisconsin's ranked. So they got to be pretty good.
I think it's...
Well, they got a few teams that are terrible. Purdue gets beat by everybody.
Purdue, Rutgers might be low. Although
I wish I'd been at that Rutgers-Kansas game. That had to be a classic. A friend of mine was there, and he said they're just going to stop playing college football rather
just forget it.
let those 2 teams.
Take a break. Stay with us.
Ever wonder, why do I hear but not understand? Scientists at Cambridge University discovered the answer. Inside your cochlea, there are thousands of tiny hearing hair cells. Poor hearing occurs when regions of these hair cells die. Amplifying a dead region with hearing aids makes you hear worse, not better. The result of this study is a hearing clarity breakthrough. Using standard test equipment, dead regions of your cochlea are identified. Then, a new type of frequency-shaping hearing aid is programmed to bypass the dead regions. Only your usable hearing hair cells receive amplification. Brilliant. A local study is underway. 100 citizens with hearing problems are needed to receive this testing and then wear the tiny device for 10 days, recording your results. Call now to see if you qualify. Volunteers may keep the product at a special discount if they desire. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Hi, I'm John Hines. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World is the place you should come for car washes, oil changes, tires, As a matter of fact, anything and everything under the hood of your car. You're in great hands at Bobby and Steve's Auto World, where serving people is the most important part of their business.
Go into Bobby and Steve's Auto World for great savings on all Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. Plus, get $60 on your World Rewards card. Schedule your appointment at BobbyandStevesAutoWorld.com or just stop in.
Welcome back to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Patrick Royce, Lou Nanny, and Sid Hartman. Minnesota Twins won today. Houston won today. Angels won today, right?
They were leading.
Yeah, I think they won. So what do we got?
They got to overcome two teams. How are they going to do that with as few games left? They got 3 games with Cleveland or 4?
4 with Cleveland and then
3 with
at
KC.
home with Kansas City. They got to win probably 6 out of 7. That's how you do it.
Right, you just got to go on. That's all you got, right?
Houston, until they won today, was I think they're 8-16 in the month or something.
Yeah. Louis?
Well, they haven't played well, and that's the good thing is that they don't look like they're hot. Houston could be beat. They could go into another 3-4 game losing streak, and the Angels, they could too. I think they still have a chance as long as you got a chance. 2 teams, but they're not a lot of games ahead of you.
The unfortunate thing is, Perkins has cost them 3 games that might make the difference. I don't know what happened to him.
And Kansas City's not playing that well.
He's completely lost it.
Well, you lose 4 miles an hour on your fastball. And
If Kansas City gets about 3 games behind Toronto for the best record, they might just pack it in too, and then you might.
You guys still just pitch anybody.
But Cleveland isn't easy because you got to face Kluber. They got 4 starting pitchers, so you're going to have to win some games 3-2. And they are pasting together this starting rotation. It's unbelievable.
It is.
You got to give them credit, though.
You do. Duffy, Santana. Yeah. I mean, that I don't know how many of you saw the catch that Mike Trout made to save the game against Seattle last night. I've never seen a guy that goes back to the fence and he almost climbed it like a ladder, like, oh, I'll just climb up here and take this home run away.
About 245.
One good thing is they'll start next season with a much better roster than they had in the last 3-4 years. Some of these young guys like Eddie R., Sano, Hicks, guys that weren't counted on that much.
Oh, without question, they took a step in the right direction.
They'll probably start the year with Escobar playing shortstop, too, instead of waiting until July, right?
Let him swing, huh?
Yeah, what the heck? He's okay defensively. And, the other kid, they spent 3 months not playing him, and he's been close to their MVP since the All-Star break. So.
Yeah. Louis, the future of the Twins?
Well, it looks good right now. They've got really good young guys, and they got a couple of pitchers in the minors that they think that eventually are going to be good pitchers. You're not going to have as many injuries next year, I think, as they had in the pitching staff this year. And that seemed to be a bad break for them. And you can't really say that's going to happen again. That was unusual. They had so many pitchers out this long.
There's another thing. If they start to sing Noresco, Hughes, and Santana are healthy and can do what they're supposed to do, they would be in very
And then
good
you still
shape.
got Duffy and you got May. You got some good
I think
people there.
sometimes I think you're better off with Nolasco not pitching, but that's...
Well, that has been one strange deal, hasn't it?
Man. I think when he had the original ankle injury, they thought he might miss 2 weeks, and he misses 105 games or something. A little bit of surgery, but nobody knows what happened. So.
Yeah. All right.
Big question is going to be, will they bring Hunter back?
Well, I don't know if that's a big question, but it's
I
a
think
question.
the way Buxton has shown that he's not ready to hit, they might have to. But they can't give him 10 again.
It's the magic number. What's the magic number, right?
If he'll take 7 or 8, they might bring him back.
Maybe even 5. That's not bad.
Nah, for 42.
The numbers we talk about, man. Take a break, come back.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins! Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. For details, go to ticketkingonline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
You're watching CW-23.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Beacon Bank, what a week for Beacon Bank and Bob Weiss. They were sold. It won't close until next week, or next year, but congratulations to Beacon Bank, to Alaris Banks, and same great service under a different name starting next year, but congratulations to Bob Weiss and that whole staff for building something up. You can still live the American dream at Beacon Bank.
They sold out.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I said they sold. I said congratulations.
Yeah. You sold out, so you're in trouble.
No, you're in trouble. Minnesota Wild played one of those coveted preseason games tonight. 8-1 they won.
Who was the goaltender for the Jets tonight?
Well, Hutchinson, but they only had 8 regulars. Winnipeg did only 8 regulars. But that, notwithstanding that, the Wild looked really good today. They played good. The best part was their power play. Even though 2 of the goals came as the guy was coming out of the box, they should have been power play goals. Guys never got back into play.
So Adam Oates did a good job teaching them the power play.
No, it wasn't that unit scoring it. It was the other unit.
Okay.
It was a unit with Coyle and Niederreiter, Vanek, Dumba, who's played very well in Spurgeon. They really moved the puck well.
If Coyle and Niederreiter become stars, then they got a shot.
It's a joke.
And Coyle had about 3 points, 4 points again tonight.
Who is 25th? And you got basketball with Monday with their
media
deal, and you got the Wild playing in their 3rd exhibition game.
When is the Wild? Are they done
in 1967,
Regular season next?
68,
No,
in
Thursday they play for sure.
1968, we were playing exhibition games at this time too. So it hasn't just come around. We used to play 14
remember when the
exhibition
basketball
games, not
season
6.
ended in March and never started until December.
Played 60 games, Sid.
Yeah, and those guys were 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, and then
So
when the owners
things
figured out
changed.
that they could get Gates for 82 games, they said, hey, I got
I'll
90.
tell you what, though, the hockey season is long, man.
It is long if you have to
It's a
play
whole
it.
school year.
Because they end the same time as the NBA, and they start about 3 weeks earlier.
Yeah, it's the whole
There's a
school.
good column you had about that guy. That was a really interesting story about that guy from St. John.
St. Thomas, yeah. Jordan Roberts is his name.
Oh, yeah,
Going
from South Dakota.
to be a priest, but first he's a running back.
Who's he running back?
Is he good?
That league gets some, I don't know, in the last several years, maybe because
Lot
it's so
more
competitive, but
transfers.
these transfers from the Dakotas, I mean, Bethel's got a quarterback from Lafayette.
I guess
not
he's
starting
fantastic.
right now because they moved Anderson in front of him. But, I mean, on the list goes. And they got, Mr. Football in the state that went to South Dakotas at Bethel, too, Bridge Tussler.
Yeah.
Is St. Thomas going to go a long way?
Yes, they're good.
Louis, who?
I mean,
yeah, they're back. They're back. Yes, they're good.
Yeah, they are good. Who of the before mentioned names, who do you think's got the best chance to collect with the Wild and become a great player?
Well, the best chance, I don't want to give. You got to expect that Granlund, Coyle, Niederreiter are 3 really quality youngsters.
And if they all come up,
they got a chance to accelerate. Plus, Dumba has been superb.
We are talking hockey,
trainer player.
so Sid on Sid. Sid,
preseason.
finish up the show here.
well, we had 2 winners this week. I'm afraid we'll have 2 losers next week. Vikings at Denver and the Gophers at Northwestern.
It's okay for you to say that, but if anybody else does their thing.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandSteve'sAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.